It is time to sort out the NFL NFC playoff race heading into Week 17, or at least try to sort it out. None of the division titles have been claimed yet, including the NFC North, where, funny enough, the 13-2 Detroit Lions actually have the lowest mathematical odds of any NFC division leaders to win their division. I'm sure they find that hysterical. Anyway, they play the 49ers in San Francisco this week. And they can wrap up the division with a win and a Vikings loss to the Packers. A quick reminder that all calculations come from the Playoff Computer app. Check it out on the Play Store to analyze your leagues, whether they are fantasy or not. And those Minnesota Vikings keep on winning to stay right there with the Lions. They will need to overtake the Lions in record to win the NFC North, as they cannot win a tiebreaker with them. The Lions have a better division record, so they would be relegated to a wildcard spot with a loss and a Lions win no matter what were to happen the final week. The Philadelphia Eagles kept the door cracked open for the Commanders to miracle the NFC East. Still, the Eagles have a 2-game lead with 2 to play, so all they need is a win or a Commanders loss would give them the division anytime in the next 2 weeks. Just a quick visit to Cheesehead Land. The Green Bay Packers clinched a wildcard spot, and they are the only team in the NFC who is locked into a particular playoff designation. They cannot win the division. The Washington Commanders at 10-5 haven't sewn up a playoff spot yet, and they still have 2 interesting games to finish the season. This week they host the Falcons, who are in their own battle to make the playoffs. And then if it still matters, we'll see if the Cowboys haven't packed it in yet next week. The Commanders do clinch a spot this week with a win or a Buccaneers loss. As for the division, if they manage to tie the Eagles at 12-5, the Commanders would win the tiebreaker, which would be division record. If you enjoy these geeky discussions, any internet points are most welcome, as is Pizza Energy through Buy Me a Coffee Playoff Computer handle. The Los Angeles Rams have won 4 in a row to take charge of the NFC West. Now a 3 out of 4 favorite to win the division. And note, it is now mathematically impossible for 2 teams from the NFC West to make it to the playoffs. Whomever wins the division is in, whomever doesn't is not. The Rams finish up at home, first a game against the Cardinals, and if they don't win that, then the finale against the Seahawks will be for it all. The simple way for the Rams to clinch the NFC West this week is with a win and a Seahawks loss. If that doesn't happen, we could end up digging deep into the tiebreakers to sort these 2 out if they end up in a tie, as in strength of victory may be what determines it. The Rams and Seahawks could end up tied, and going through the division tiebreakers, they could end up splitting the head-to-head. They could end up with the same division record. The tough one to pull off is that they could end up with the same common games record, and they could end up with the same conference record, which means we get down to strength of victory. And of course, that is a tough one to draw out because it will keep changing until the last game is played. If we look at it right now, we can get a bit of an idea anyway which way the wind is blowing and listing out their wins so far. We can cross-check any common ones and not count them. And those are one 49ers game, the Patriots and Jets. The Rams beat the 49ers a second time, so that would get counted here. Adding them up so far, the Rams have a slight advantage. But for us to get to the tiebreaker, one of the things that would have to happen is for the Seahawks to beat the Rams next week and get another 9 or 10 more wins to add to their total. So it really could come down to some otherwise meaningless games that decide the NFC West. Since this is such a fluid and complex tiebreaker, we'll wait until next week to really do a deep dive into it if it is necessary. But for the moment, the Rams might want to pull for some of the teams on their side of this list to win their games this week and vice versa for the Seahawks. Every win for teams they have beat may matter. As a comedic side note, in a sick sort of way, it helps the Seahawks if they and the Rams both lose this week, as the Seahawks only pick up the Bears' meager 4 victories for winning, while the Rams would pick up 7 for beating the Cardinals. The Atlanta Falcons have retaken the top spot in the NFC South. They now hold the advantage over the Buccaneers, having swept them for their series. So as long as they don't drop a game to them in the wins department, they will be the division winners. And that is the only path available to them. They cannot get in as a wild card. So for this week, the Falcons clinched the division with a win over the Commanders and a Buccaneers loss. And those Tampa Bay Buccaneers find themselves once again on the outside looking in after the loss to the Cowboys, down to a mathematical 1 in 3 chance. Their best hope is that the Falcons stumble and they win out to take the division. However, they are the lone team in the NFC that can take the Commanders' spot away. If the Commanders lose out and the Buccaneers win out, and the Falcons do the same to win the division, the Buccaneers won their head-to-head match against the Commanders for the year, so they would win the tiebreaker. So interestingly, they have a path no matter who wins the Falcons-Commanders game. But they would be eliminated with a loss and a Falcons win. The Seattle Seahawks are the last team still in the fight, but the loss to the Vikings puts them on a slippery slope. They need to keep the Rams within arm's length, as again, there is no path for a second NFC West team to make it, and they are eliminated with a loss and a Rams win. As mentioned in the Rams portion of the program, things could get very intriguing depending on how this week goes as far as the Rams and Seahawks tiebreaker situation. To recap who is in, the Packers joined the club of the Lions, Vikings, and Eagles. And to recap who is out, there was a Darwinian mass extinction event in Week 16. The Saints, 49ers, Cardinals, and Cowboys were all eliminated to join the Giants, Panthers, and Bears. That's it for now in the NFC. Enjoy your day.